This video is for anyone studying Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Today we'll be looking at the character of Curley's wife. She's been portrayed in many adaptations on the stage, the radio and in movies since the novel's first publication in 1937. The first ever actor to play her, though, was a woman named Clare Luce. She played the role on Broadway in New York in 1937 and 1938. Upon hearing of Miss Luce's nerves and insecurity about how to play such a challenging role, Steinbeck decided to write her a letter outlining the background of Curley's wife as he imagined it. The letter is fascinating for readers of the novel to read today. This is because we never learn much about Curley's wife. We don't even learn her first name, and her character is presented to us in such a negative light for much of the novel. She comes across as vain, superficial. She's a bully. She bullies crooks mercilessly. She seems to have poor judgment in having married Curley. She's avoided or even hated by the men on the ranch. She's bitter and she seems to be largely idle. We rarely see her doing anything except stalking around the ranch. Curley's wife is described as a tart and poison by George when he first meets her. Candy then explains that she's got the eye. And George seems to think that this explains Curley's behaviour. He thinks if she's got the eye, that must be why Curley's pants is so full of ants. This implies that Curley isn't such a bad guy. He's not a violent bully. It's his wife's fault that he behaves like this. However, this letter gives us an insight into what in her background could have led her to become this character. In the letter, we learn that she's a bully as a result of her constant fear as a child. She learned to be hard to cover her fright. We also learn that she is sexually faithful to Curley, although she never gets to enjoy sex with him, and consequently she is a little starved. It is implied that she's starved of sexual satisfaction, but she is probably also starved of human company, and especially female company. Steinbeck, throughout the letter, paints her as a victim rather than the villain or the troublemaker that she seems to be in the novella. He says, if you could ever break down 1,000 little defences that she has built up, you would find a nice person, an honest person, and you would end up by loving her. For a more detailed feminist interpretation of Curley's wife as portrayed on the stage, I recommend Leighton Meester's article in the Huffington Post. She analyses and reviews the most recent adaptation of Mice and Men on the Broadway stage last year. I'll post a link to this in the description below. I'll also put the full text of Steinbeck's letter in the description and post a link to that as well. Thank you for listening. Please comment with your comments and questions, and please subscribe.